Hey everyone, in this video we're going to read the next chapter of Attack of the Tiger. Chapter 8, Along for the Ride. The police were still there when we got to the toddler park where the tiger had been. It was a little neighborhood park with two swings, tube slide, a giant tic-tac-toe game, and a big ship with about 10 steering wheels. And now it also had a whole family of dumb baby faces. They were sprayed on a tall fence that was between the park and some houses. The police had some big floodlights lighting up the night. And all those dumb baby faces looked kind of creepy. Paint went from one to the other to the other. Looked like a string of big purple ghosts with buck teeth. What a moron, one of the policemen was saying. He was shaking his head good. What's the deal with the duh? Is he saying he's dumb? Dad shook his head too. I think he's saying he thinks whatever he's spraying is dumb. The policeman snorted. Well, he sure got that backward. Another policeman came over and shook hands with my dad. Glad you could make it, Stephen. Thanks for the call. Dad pulled me in by the shoulder and said, This is my son, Nolan. Nolan, this is Sergeant Clubb. He looked at me and added, You've heard me talk about my friend Sarge, right? Well, this is him. Sergeant Clubb gave me a crooked smile and said, So you're Nolan. I've heard tales about you too. Can you really count by 9.5s? Dad, I said, and turned redder than the dumb baby on Mr. Green's van. Dad ruffled my hair and said, Sorry, champ. Then he nodded at the dumb babies and said to Sarge, It's too late to make the morning paper, but I'll get it in Wednesdays. Any leads? No witnesses so far. No help from the stores yet either. We'll catch 'em though. I'm not putting up with this junk in Cedar Valley. They want a tag? Let 'em go to the city, where they call it art. Hey, Sarge, a policeman called from inside the tube slide. There's a slew of them in here. We followed him over and looked inside the slide. There were rolling eyes and buck teeth all over the place. And at the bottom, a great big duh. Sarge was mad. What a punk. Like he paid for this equipment? The radio on his belt crackled. He pushed a button and said, Club here. A voice on the radio said, We've got a 594 at 512 Highland. Copy that, he said. In progress? Negative, the voice on the radio answered. On my way, Sarge said, then turned to Dad. Another tagging about 5 blocks away. Since it's too late for tomorrow's paper, how about I leave whatever turns up tonight on your voicemail? Sounds good, Dad said. I'll help out any way I can. Sarge nodded. See if you can't rally a community watch. That could really help nail this guy. When we got back in the car, Dad said, So what do you think? Scooted my backpack between my feet. I hadn't had the chance to take any pictures. Hadn't really had the chance to do anything. And what was the point in trying to help when the police are doing a fine job without me? They'd figure out who the tagger was way before I could. I felt kind of stupid. I thought I was a superhero. Ha. Nolan? Dad was driving but looking more at me than the road. I shrugged. I didn't know there were so many police in Cedar Valley. He nodded. I also didn't know you were a policeman's helper. I looked at him. It's pretty cool that you do that, Dad. He smiled real big at me. And right then I wanted to tell him how I was trying to help too. How I wasn't just a boy who fumbled and stumbled and tried to toast peanut butter. I was a cyber superhero. And I'd been working the whole day on figuring out a way to trap the tagger. But I couldn't tell him. Mom and Dad were the last people who could know. They wouldn't understand why Bubba's big butt had to be on the World Wide Web. They would start worrying, start making me change things. It would be the end of Shredderman. But maybe I could help my dad and the police without giving away my secret identity. Dad? Yes? Off the record? Sure. There are 4 6th graders at school I think you should have Sarge look into. There are? Uh-huh. My heart was beating like crazy. I heard some kids at school talking. You did? What did they say? They were laughing about the dumb baby and giving each other high fives and stuff. From the way they were acting, I think it might be one of them. Hmm, he glanced at me. Why didn't you tell me this before? I shrugged. Then I said, don't tell anyone I told, okay? He eyed me. I understand. You've got enough troubles at school without being labeled a rat, am I right? Seemed like a really good excuse anyway. So I nodded and said, Can you can you just say that you got an anonymous tip? Sure. So who are they? Paro Blanco, Manny Davis, AJ Penny, and Ryan Voss. He was writing like mad on his dashboard paper pad but stopped when I said Ryan's name. Ryan Voss? Your principal's son? Uh-huh. He sort of frowned at me. I know, but he was with them. He took a deep breath, held it, and wrote down Ryan's name as he let it out. Anonymous tip, huh? Yeah, maybe say it was on your voicemail at work. Okay. He snapped open his cell phone and punched in a number. Who are you calling? I asked. He had one eye on the road, the other on me. Sarge, might as well get this ball rolling tonight.